Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Mr. Payne bringing you Unit 10, Lesson 1, Graphically Representing Data. Today you're going to learn, and your main objective will be able to analyze and create dot plots and histograms. I want to talk to you about quantitative data. Quantitative data on a single variable is often collected in order to understand how a characteristic of a group differs amongst the group members and between groups. When we ask questions like, how old is a typical fast food worker, it is helpful to take a survey and then see graphically how the ages differ amongst the groups. How old is a good way to remember quantitative. Quantitative data is different than qualitative data. Quantitative data is dealing with numbers. So if you want to write that down, that's a good vocabulary word that we're going to learn right out of the get-go today. Quantitative data has to deal with all numbers. So how old? That's a number. What's your shoe size? That's a number. House numbers. They're dealing with numbers. So just remember, when dealing with quantitative data, you're dealing with numbers. Let's look at exercise number 1. This is an example of a dot plot. So let's write that down, or underline it if you see it somewhere on your page. The exercise 1 directions say Charlie's Food Factory currently employs 28 workers whose ages are shown below on a dot plot. Answer the following questions based on this plot. How many of the workers are 18 years old? So let's go over to 18. So this is 15, 16, 17, 18, and let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of the workers are 18 years old. What is the range of ages of the workers? Well, the range is going to be my highest number, which is right here. This is my largest age, which is going to be 42, minus my youngest age, which is 16. So therefore, my range is 26 years. C. Would you consider this distribution symmetrical? Well, what does that mean to be symmetrical? Where have you heard that word before? We've used the word symmetrical when we've talked about parabolas, knowing that my axis of symmetry splits the parabola in half, pointing out that this left side has to be exactly as the right side, here and here. Now, is this graph perfectly symmetrical? I would say no. A perfectly symmetrical dot plot would look like this. You have your dots down the middle, and that would be a symmetrical dot plot. Actually, it would be even more. That would be a symmetrical dot plot. Equal number on the left-hand side is on the right-hand side. So the answer here is no. The mean, or the average age for a worker is 22 years old. Why is the average not representative of a typical worker? There are a great deal of workers under the age of 22. So let's find where 22 is. And because that's the mean age, the few older workers that we have on the right-hand side here skew that mean. So it is not a good representation of this dot plot. Not a good representation. Let's look at exercise number 2. A farm is studying the weight of the baby chickens after 1 week of growth. They find that weight in ounces of 20 chicks. The weight are shown below. Construct a dot plot on the axes given. So what I'm going to do is just create a dot plot with you. So we have 1, 2, so I'm going to put my dot on 2. Whenever I have created that, I always like to put a line through it so we know we're done. 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 2, 3, 1, 5, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 3, 8, 5, 4, 6, and 3. Now let's take a look at exercise number 3. The following histogram shows the ages of workers at Charlie's Food Factory from exercise number 1, but in different format. This is a histogram. How many workers have the ages between 19 and 21 years? So let's go over to 19 to 21 years, and let's go all the way up. Noticing that each mark goes up by 2, so halfway in between will give me 11. So that there are 11 workers between the age of 19 and 21. What is the disadvantage of a histogram compared to a dot plot? Well, one disadvantage is that you're not exactly sure what their ages are. So that's the disadvantage. Not sure of exact ages. And that's because they give you ranges of their workers. So it's between 19 and 21. So you don't know how many people are 19, 20, or 21. Does the histogram have any advantages over the dot plot? Well, it is a bit quicker to read. I would say it would be the advantage. It is a bit quicker to read. Exercise number 4 is going to have us construct a histogram now. The 2006-2007 Arlington High School varsity boys basketball team had an excellent season, compiling a record of 15-5, 15 wins and 5 losses. The total points scored by the team for each of the 20 games are listed below in the order in which the games were played. So what I'm going to do is, as I go ahead and read a number, I'm going to find where my intervals are and put a tally mark. A tally is just a single dot. I'm going to put 4 tally marks, and then the 5th one's going to go across, representing 5. So let's focus in here on that and learn how to use the tally marks properly. 76, 55, 76, 64, 49, 46, 91, 65, 46, 45, 53, 56, 53, 57, 67, 58, 64, 67, 52, 58, and 62. Now what you're going to do is count up how many tally marks, and that's going to be your frequency. So in 40 to 49 interval, I have 3. Then I have 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I have 6, 2, 0, and 1. Now what I'm going to do is construct a histogram with you. On the left-hand side is going to be my frequency, and you can write that in right on the left-hand side here. It's going to be my frequency. And we're going to start with 0, and we're going to go up by 1s. because of my marker here, I'm going to just skip a line and go by 2s, but really I'm going up by 1s. Now, where it's tricky is on the bottom. I want you to pay attention to this. I am going to use a break, and I'm going to start with 40. Noticing that my smallest interval is 40, and it goes to 49. So I'm going to skip a line so that each one of my data is represented by that. Now, all I have to do is write down the right-hand side here. I started with 40, and now I write down all the right-hand side ones. So from 49, the next one I write down is 59, and 69, and 79, sorry, my 9s are hard to make, then 89, then 99. And those are my intervals. So from 40 to 49, I have 3. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to 3, down, and then I just shade it in. Now if my intervals started at 0, I can go ahead and move that bar right next to my x or my y-axis, and that's totally acceptable. You almost don't want a space right here, but because my intervals start at 40, I need to have a little break there to represent that it doesn't start right at 0. The next one is 8, so I'm going to go right up to 8 and connect it, shade it in. The next one is 6, so right off the 8, no space. Notice there are no spaces in this histogram. Next one is 2, 0, you're just going to skip it, and now you're going to go to 1. And that is how you construct the histogram. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message on Edmodo about these two graphs that you learned how to plot today. You learned how to do the dot plot, and you learned how to do a histogram. You will have plenty of time to practice.